Man, ETH is pushing pretty good.
Yeah, ETH's been leading all day.
That's good
It's
to
good though.
see.
Yeah, it's good to see. I feel like that's a strong signal for alts. Like usually, Bitcoin leads and then ETH takes a turn and then you see all these other alts run. So far it's just been Bitcoin and then just a scramble.
Yeah. It looks like if ETH pumps, alts will follow too, no? Just like they follow Bitcoin at times.
Yeah, that's how it used to be.
Are we looking for a false move Monday or no? I don't think so, right?
Not sure.
Do you know if has Drew been on? Is he still holding his Doge?
He was yesterday. I just got back on myself, so I'm not sure. I was off for a while.
Yeah, I'm at work. Well, lunchtime, but just trying to jump in and see what's going on.
We're still here.
What's up, Drew?
Doubles. Still here. We still hanging. What's
Yeah,
going on?
in the same boat. Man, I ran out of dry powder.
Yeah, I mean, what to do? What to do? I'm thinking Bitcoin's still hanging above 104, 103. So I'm still in position. I've been feeding my position too. Dry powder's extra low. Position extra hot.
Yeah, me too. Coin count looks good. Hopefully, for this
Yeah, me too.
next
That's what
push.
I'm looking at. That's all I'm looking at, man. I'm just looking at the coin count. I'm about to put a piece of tape on my phone so when the thing comes up, so it doesn't show the portfolio value, it just shows the coin count.
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it.
But yeah, man. I mean, a lot of people were thinking we were gonna dip hard. What's it called? Ukraine hit up Russia, some airports or some nuclear facilities or some weird shit, something like that. So a lot of people were spooked last night, think we were gonna dip hard today, but it's like we're still hanging on.
Yeah, yeah. I heard they hit like some major plane sites or something that they never thought
Yeah,
they could touch. And dang, it's getting crazy.
yeah. It's like they're about to do a truce, but what's his name? Zelensky is like on Sunday night. He just crept. He's like, nah, let me do something slick real quick. Let them know who
Yeah,
the
they
messenger.
actually, yeah, they actually hit um about four airplanes, not airplanes, sorry, airports, military airports that were holding most of the Russian nuclear, mm, let's say
Nuclear
nuclear
capable,
deterrents.
nuclear
Yeah,
capable.
yeah, yeah, nuclear capable.
Uh-huh.
Tu-24, Tu-57, and Tu-81, I think. Those aeroplanes that are basically bombers of nuclear weapons. So they kind of destroyed about 60% of Russia's nuclear capable aeroplanes that are basically able to deliver nuclear warheads in the nuclear triad. So that's quite a big blow. Since Russia can't produce them anymore. They were produced within the Soviet Union and they don't have the facilities to produce them anymore. They just upgraded them. I think about a month ago, they upgraded them.
Yeah, a lot of people got spooked last night and were like, "Uh-oh, this is the start of something big." It could still be the beginning of something bigger. We'll see how things develop today and tomorrow.
If you look at the Russian media, they actually said that no damage was done and only 2 planes were lost. But
Of course they'll say that.
basically, yeah, of course. But basically, footage from satellites and also from the Ukrainian military actually show about 50 of them being completely destroyed.
Yeah, from what I
Oh.
read, it said there was 37% of those types of planes that they had, not just the nuclear ones, but 30%, 37%. I can find the article.
Yeah, 37% of the entire fleet that they have. But the Ukrainians only targeted the ones that are actually functional. The rest are not functional.
Oh wow, crazy.
Yeah. That's the thing. Those were functional. Because even though a country has, let's say, 100 planes, of those 100 planes, maybe 50 are functional. The rest are in maintenance, in piece changes, something like that, whatever. And basically, they targeted the only functional planes that Russia had and was actively using to do bombardments on Ukraine. So that's why it's a big blow, because yeah, they have more, but they're not functional.
Who knows? Yeah, they can probably call up China, friends, and get some more if they want.
Yeah, but China is kind of playing it very safe. We don't want to anger the EU and the
China
United
and
States
Russia.
because the money comes from there.
Yeah, but still, China and Russia, they're in bed together. So, of course, I'm sure they talk strategically, especially economic strategies, how to
Yeah, most
kind of.
probably. Yeah, most probably. Yep. Totally agree.
I don't know about India per se with like airplane manufacturing, but like that trade or that communication has been open also between Russia and India.
Yeah, basically India decided not to buy planes from Russia and decided to buy European planes after they've seen what Russian planes are doing in Ukraine. So that's a lost contract for Russia for about a year now, I think, something like that.
Well, this also might strengthen ties with the U.S. and Russia because Zelensky didn't talk or didn't give a fair warning to the U.S. while they were trying to broker a peace deal. So that shows bad faith on the part of Zelensky. So right now, because Zelensky performed in bad faith, I think that's going to strengthen the U.S.-Russian relationship.
I don't think so, because from what I understand and what the media is reporting, as well as what the secret services are reporting, it was a coordinated attack with US intelligence that actually permitted this to be done.
Who knows? But the Americans claiming that they did not know, that they had no warning. That's what America's claiming. So who knows?
And China is claiming that does not have anything to do with Russia and military aid. So here's your
that's
tick
what I'm
of the
saying.
card.
But that's those claims. That claim, even if it's not true, just by having that claim, it might still strengthen the ties with U.S. Russia moving forward and weaken the connection with U.S. Ukraine.
Who knows? I think we are missing the bigger picture here. From my point of
shows,
view, I think we're missing the bigger picture. There are a lot of things at play.
Yeah, Elon Musk, he's going to take over. Putin, he's going to take over everyone. That's what's going to play out.
Yeah, and Elon Musk will be the king of Mars. And we're all gonna go to live in Mars colonies.
No, but what's it called? It's not a religion. It's not oligarchy, but like there's something. It's ism, and I forget the ism, the word of it. And
Technocracy.
Yeah, technocrism and technocratic society, basically. If it kind of grows in fruition like these next few years, you never know, what can grow out of it. And this technocracy that's happening right now. So I'm not against it. I'm not for it. I'm just studying it. But I still think Elon Musk is plotting, and I'm over here plotting getting more Dogecoin, more and more, because ETFs are coming. Grayscale knows what's up. 21 shares know what's up. Dogecoin to the moon.
I think right now, just keeping it a little bit real, we are just little ants in the big game. So basically, even though we might think we know what's happening or what's going on, there are a lot of talks behind closed doors that we don't even get
Oh,
to
yeah, of
hear,
course.
or maybe we will hear in about 50 years from now, and we'll
No,
get
no,
the
of
Guys,
course.
bigger picture. Yeah.
something
But
totally
I'm just
different here. I think I think Dbloc might be right here. I think Bitcoin might first go down to 100 or 101 before we actually shoot up again. I think market maker's going to take his share down there. Just my thought.
anything's possible. Anything's possible. But with the thing I was talking about, Elon Musk, I was just thinking that in these next 3 years, since he's positioned himself so well, he's advisor to Trump and advisor to the
He was advisor
DOGE.
to Trump.
No,
I
he's still
think
advisor.
right now he
No, listen
quit
to me, man.
Doge or something
Still,
like that.
don't cut me off when I'm dropping facts, okay? Don't drop me off with things that you think when I'm dropping facts. I'm dropping
Yeah,
facts
but
here.
he had
So
he's
still,
a talk
listen,
when
he's
he
still
said
an
he's
advisor.
going off.
He's still an advisor to Trump and to JD Vance. He said it publicly in the White House. I'll still be advising. Trump nodded his head. Yes, he will. He's still an advisor
Oh,
to
okay.
Trump and JD Vance. So that's a fact. And since he's going to be well positioned these next few years, and he's not in an argument like everybody thinks that he got kicked out, it's his terms, that was the planned term that they have. So I just think he's going to position himself really well with what he's doing with his robotics, with Tesla, with SpaceX, with Dogecoin, with everything. And I just think they're going to slowly kind of grow together. And some people are going to be, there's going to be a lot of talk in the media about it. And a lot of people are going to hate what's happening because they're going to see, they're like, what is this? Is this a technocratic society right now we're living in? But I think we're going to step into a new era where it's going to smell a lot like that, and people are going to fight it. And it's just going to create more fuel for the fire as they try to fight it.
Could be, could be. I was under the impression that he quit Dodge and he was gonna step down and take care of Tesla and
No,
the other
he had
companies
a
that
set
he's
term.
running.
No, he had a set term limit, so he wasn't even allowed to stay more than he was as official capacity, government capacity. And it was already planned
I
he was going
wasn't
to step
aware of
away.
that. I wasn't
Yeah,
aware of that.
he was contractually obligated to step away by the time of his signing when he first initiated.
Okay, okay, that's something new.
Yeah, a
I
lot
need
of
to
media
also
doesn't
take
like
that
to
into
talk.
consideration.
Yeah, media does not like to talk about that, and they want to create as much friction for Elon as they can.
Yeah, but he did kind of lose a couple of billions during this term, but yeah, maybe he'll
Yeah.
recover and make 3x of it. So
Well, look, I mean, his net worth right now is over $440 billion. So he stepped back up. And I think, his net worth proves that he's doing something right, even if it's, his net worth is very volatile. But 2 weeks ago, it was spotted at $440 billion.
yeah, basically all these rich people don't actually live off the money that they say they have. They basically go to banks and get credits and hedge
Well, yeah, but that's
over
what's important,
those
the net worth.
equities, yeah, and net worth. So basically they live off credit. They don't actually.
Well, that's a beautiful thing to be able to live off of, right?
Yeah. I totally agree. This is how the market works and this is how the economy works. For example, in some countries it's now legal to hedge Bitcoin and get lots of money just for hedging Bitcoin. But not all of the European countries, and I don't think I think it may be legal in some states in United States, but I'm not sure, and I don't want to say anything that's wrong because I don't actually know. I've heard of some states that
Well,
actually accept.
there's a lot of DeFi protocols that operate in the United States that people do that, but I don't know how legal they are.
Yeah, I don't think it's widespread. I think it's just a couple of states that you can actually go to the bank and say, hey, I want a loan of, I don't know, 21 million. And the bank says, what can you bring into custody for that? And they say like, oh, well, I have 2 million Bitcoin. And they are
Well,
like, oh, okay, sure thing.
does that. Gemini does that, and there's some platform. At least Gemini was doing that. I think Coinbase Custodial might have some kind of thing like that.
Yeah, but it's not legal everywhere. But it will become quite legal once Bitcoin stabilizes, and it kind of stabilizes day by day. So yeah, it will most likely be accepted worldwide as collateral. So
Yes, I've been reading on the timeline. A lot of the alts are crossing their MACD that they crossed right before they hit that golden cross in 2021. A very kind of repetitive pattern looking for the alts. So I think if Bitcoin's going to be able to hang out around here, even if it doesn't do anything crazy, if we can still keep Bitcoin up here a little bit by the first half of June, going to give very good sentiment for the rest of summer, I think. And these next 14 days, next 2 weeks are going to kind of set a pivot for what happens for the whole summer until, early fall, because, usually we get those late pumps in fall. I hate using the word usually, but, a lot of people are like, all right, if step in May, go away is still in effect. We're officially in June. Some people are bearish and they try to go with that, with the isms and saying, yeah, step away, step away in May, whatever. I think
yeah,
that
but this is just a
legacy,
talking point
yeah,
because
it's a
we
talking
now
point
have
that still
EFTs,
affects,
we have a lot of institutional
right,
investors.
but it still affects the legacy markets, I think, those talking points, because they're very blanket of movements in the legacy market rather than in crypto markets.
True.
Yeah, but if you look at it for the legacy markets, they didn't actually go down in June, August, September. They didn't
Yeah,
actually
they're
go
pretty
down.
good. I know, it's crazy.
So, but this is just a thinking of crypto markets, and we are gonna respect the last cycle. I don't think so, because even though if we were to go down 20%, it's basically nothing. We have EFTs, we have a lot of institutional investors
Yeah,
that will keep
you're
the
right.
price.
But you're right. But still, historically, the reason people say sell May and go away, because you can look back historically, and a very majority of the times in May, if you took profit and step back in the market a little bit later, you'd be okay.
Yeah, but you remember that saying that most traders actually put out? It's saying that a past performance does not equal future
I
performance.
agree 100%. That's why I think we're going to the moon, and that's why I'm loading up on Dogecoin.
So yeah, keep in mind that we're actually in a different market that we were on last cycle. So right now we have a lot of EFTs, a lot of them. And also we have a lot of institutional investors legally being able to invest in assets like this.
Yeah, and
And
I think the
also
spot.
take a look what happened to the gold and what happened to Bitcoin. We didn't see like gold going up 10,000% and Bitcoin just dumping like shit. No, we didn't see that. We kind of saw them equaling out. So that must tell you one thing, that basically Bitcoin is starting to become a hedge against inflation and a hedge against what's happening in the markets in some sort of
Well,
way.
it's not becoming. It has been a hedge against inflation.
Yeah, but right now it's quite seeable. I don't know if I'm making myself clear.
I mean, everything's fractalized, but yeah, the whole thing I'm thinking though is with the alt markets, because I'm pretty sure the spot ETFs that are going to come out, XRP, Solana, TUI, and Dogecoin,
XIP, I think
and
it's
possibly
also
Cardano,
it's out as well.
ADA, also possible. What's that? And ADA.
XRP, I think it's already out.
Are not on spot. I don't think they have a spot ETF.
I think there's the futures one right now.
There's no spot ETF though. That's very important.
Yeah, crypto is kind of becoming like the stock market. If you take a look at the guys that are, I don't know, just take a look at YouTube. The guys that are actually trading are starting to be traders that come from the legacy markets, and they are treating crypto as the legacy markets right now. There are a lot of them. And the old guys, the OG ones, are being left behind because they still think like, yeah, it's still crypto, we can still go down 90% and then recover miraculously and make billions of dollars in profit. Those are kind of taken out and they are replaced by more professional and seasoned traders that come from the legacy market, just because the crypto market is moving faster than the legacy market. But they still apply the same rules. So they still apply volumes, they still apply technical analysis, they still apply most of the things that you would see in the legacy market. Because last cycle, for example, you could buy any shit coin and you would make like 10,000x. Now it's not like that. You basically need to know the project you're in. You basically need to siphon the project which you believe in and see if it has a utility or not, and it fixes a problem or not. If it fixes a problem or not. Even though this cycle was kind of driven by meme coins, but meme coins were just the new thing on the block, the new kid on the block. So let's go pump that and see what happens. But basically there's a change in how everything is working. This is just my opinion. You can disagree with it, but I think this is how everything is going right now. Maybe I'm wrong, but who knows? Maybe I'm not.
That's what putting your money where your mouth is all about. That's like me. I'm not sure. I might be wrong, but I'm betting on what I'm betting. And I'm thinking there's going to be interesting shifts happening these next 3 years. Geopolitical shift in the United States with them trying to become the crypto capital of the world, and that's going to bring on competition because, of course, Dubai wants to be it. Of course, Hong Kong likes to be it. Singapore wants to be it. Everyone wants to be the capital. So it's going to be only good. All this competition is going to be good for crypto, and it's going to bring in volume. And these new ETFs are going to bring in more institutional money. And the new regulation that we're going to have, the framework with the SEC chair, when he's admitting that they need to erase and rewind, like they need to redo everything. They can't get the torch handed off from Gary Gensler. It's like they know Gary screwed up, and they're making a new framework. Once this framework's done, hopefully they're not going to drag. But when it's finished, money is going to come in, and it's sitting on the sideline right now because they don't want the liability of coming in without the framework. Once the framework's there, the liability disappears and the money comes flowing in. Non-financial advice.
Yeah, competition is always great. Competition makes better products. That's totally normal in a market economy. If you have competition, you have the incentive to make better products. If you don't have any competition, you don't have any incentive to do anything. You can just sell the old bullshit car that no one wants because that's the only one that's on the market. So you own the market. So competition is great.
Yeah, like I'm seeing a lot of TA analysis saying we could just be in a giant range right now. Just made a little higher high, but we might still have to visit the 59, 60K area, 61. And we're just kind of start ranging between this, like 110 and 60, 70K. That's possible, like a macro range like that, even though it's not that macro when you zoom out. But I'm still on the side that like the bulls are going to be able to hold this 100K area, even if it breaches a little bit. I still think this whole like 100K zone is going to get normalized by the third quarter of this year.
Yeah, it depends quite a lot because it basically depends on where we are right now in the market, and also depends on how other people see it, as well as the stock market and what the algos are doing on the stock market, because we are kind of following the stock market algos right now. If you take a look at Nasdaq, if you take a look at Nasdaq futures, we are kind of following what they are doing.
Yeah, and I think we need to have a psychological normalization of Bitcoin being in the 100K range. Like, I think we're gonna have to peak it out above 175. You know, like I had what was it, the 137 target. Then I have a 161, 162 target, and the third one would be just like, you know, something enough to just kind of break the range, and from there, from anything above 150, whether it's like 160 or 175, I think that's going to be enough to hold it for the next 3 years above, or next 2 years above 100K.
Yeah, totally agree with you. Totally agree with you, and I think that we are basically in the point of the market that 100K would be like the limit. And I'm not just saying this from a market point of view, I'm saying this also from a, let's say, mining point of view. If we go below 92,000, that's not profitable for miners. It becomes unprofitable to mine Bitcoin. Most mining companies could go 1 month, 2 months below 92, but the smaller operations will basically die down.
Well, it depends. The ones that have enough cash on deck, because it's not necessarily less profitable if you can hold, and you know they're not forced to sell their assets that they're mining, because it doesn't technically, because until you take profit, then it's less profitable. So if they don't
Yeah,
sell the
but
assets,
most mining firms need to take profit to pay
yeah,
bills.
I agree.
They need
That's
to
why the
pay
ones
the
that I'm saying, the
current,
ones
they
that
need to pay electricity, they
exactly,
need to pay
yeah,
cooling.
yeah. That's why the ones that have the reserves and stuff, they'll be able to last moves like that.
Yeah, but most companies have 2 to 3 months
I
of
know, I agree.
reserves.
I know.
They don't have like 10 years of reserves. So they are working on a margin. So if that margin goes away, they can't actually sustain the operation. Just think about it, how many companies went offline in 2018. So for example, it was Hashflare, it was Genesis Mining. There were big companies with a lot of investments in them. And they went under the water because the price stood below their profit margins for 6 to 8 months. So they went out of business.
Yeah, and the thing, even if they think they have a cushion of 2 to 3 months, that could be undone as well, because if Bitcoin drops drastically, that 2 to 3 month cushion turns into 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah, but take into consideration the fact that BlackRock and other big companies and institutional investors are actually investing into mining firms.
You know, I've
So
noticed this, and it's
yeah,
getting very.
and they wouldn't let that happen.
Yeah, I think that's one of the main reasons, so they can ensure that it won't happen, so they have enough of the hash power to have influence on it.
Yep. For example, did you notice that one company that sponsored about 50% of the Bitcoin conference was like Go Mining?
They had the biggest booth there too.
Yeah. They had the biggest booth. Then they're a cloud mining company which has backing from BlackRock and from other institutional investors that they don't want to name.
Yeah, they've been around for a little bit.
Yeah, but just a little bit. In the crypto market, 3 years is like nothing. So
Yeah. I'll be right back.
so just
No problem.
imagine that BlackRock is investing like $10,000 billion in Go mining, and after that, after 1 year, they went underground and they can't recover their money. I don't think BlackRock will do that.
Drew?
Yo.
Yeah, Drew, I need to ask you something when you come back, but not on this channel, on another channel, because we don't want to say it on YouTube.
All right, just shoot me a message. I'll check it as soon as I can.
We can go to the other voice channel if you would like. It's gonna be quick.
What channel? What channel you want to go to?
Go to trading channel, yeah,
All right,
trading floor. I'm there.
all right. I'll see you there.
Dude, Solana is just knifing. What's going on with Solana?
What's going on, good people? Nasty little storm today. Everybody good? Yeah, it's crazy little like wedge of indecision here, right? Like above its support resistance flip where it hasn't completely invalidated that W yet, but below below the bear flag. Like this little tiny Bermuda Triangle of no man's land. Let me check. Let me see what's going on Discord. Had the lights go off because of the storm, so it probably screwed up some of the settings. All right, mic check. In Discord, hear me now? 1 2 1 2. All right, cool. All right, let me check to see what other settings got messed up. I'll be right back.
Yo, we about to flush again.
Yo, you said the inside thing outside, bro. You're not supposed to say those words out loud right now.
I'm just watching Solana's price action, and it is just hanging on by a thread.
I know. Just be very, very, very lucky, or happy, I should say, that dominance did not make that move up when Bitcoin made this move down. Because it could have been a lot worse.
It seems like it's just ETH. ETH is carrying that load for everything right now. I don't see any other hype. I guess is another strong alt. Most other alts are just hanging and bleeding. Hype is pumping. Hype just went a new high. I think it just actually flipped Sui and market cap just now.
Just remember that market cap is pretty high. I need Silver Drop. I need to fill a couple more of these orders. We're at my first DCA. Remember the grid I set all the way down to that. I set a grid all the way down to 135.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And then Litecoin finally made that move, but it on its little dead cat journey. Gun broke down and it tested bearishly off of its support. So this I have to watch. This I've got to watch pretty closely. We're on higher low watch for guns on the floor.